So welcome in the course of water resource engineering. In last lecture we have seen the types of irrigation. Today we are going to see the techniques of water distribution. I am Mr. S.S. Ugule, Civil Engineering Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department. So in last lecture we have seen the types of irrigation and their advantages, disadvantages. Now we are going to see the techniques of water distribution in the farms. So these are some methods by using which we can distribute the water in the farm. So first one is uncontrolled or wild or free flooding method. Second is the border strip method, check method, basin method, furrow method, sprinkler irrigation and drip irrigation. So the uncontrolled flooding. When water is applied to the cropland without any preparation of land and without any levees or to guide or to restrict the flow of water on the field. The method is called uncontrolled, wild, or free flooding. Uncontrolled flooding generally results in excess irrigation at the inlet region of the field and insufficient irrigation at the outlet end. Efficiency of reduced Efficiency is reduced of either deep percolation or flowing away of water from the field. The advantage of this method is the low initial cost of land preparation. So here you can see the water has been flooded through these outlets. The water is coming into this field through these ditches and it has been flooded by using this, and further there is no control on this system. So here you can see at the near the irrigation is more and at the far ends that irrigation might be less, and that also depends the percolation rate and even on the evaporation rate. And second is the border strip method or simply border irrigation. This is a controlled surface flooding method of applying irrigation water. In this method the farm is divided into number of strips and these strips are separated by low levees or borders. The border strip method is suited to soil of moderately low or moderately high intake rates and low erodibility. This method, however, requires preparation of land involving high initial cost. So here you can see, as earlier, we have these gates for water intake, and the farm is divided into strips by these levees, so that we have uh, more control than the earlier method, that is free flow. And the check method of irrigation based on the rapid application of irrigation water to a level or a nearly level area completely enclosed by dikes. In this method, the entire field is divided into number of almost level plots, rather say compartments or chiaries, surrounded by levees. This method is suitable for wide range of soil, ranging from very permeable to heavy soil. The loss of water through deep percolation near the supply ditches and surface runoff can be minimized and adequate irrigation of the entire farm can be achieved. Thus, application efficiency is higher for this method. There is some loss of cultivable area which is occupied by the levees. So here you can see the land has been divided into small plots, and then for each plot we are flooding the water. So there is a good control as compared to earlier methods. This is the basin method. So we all are familiar with this kind of method. So where the uh, trees or plants are placed at a slight distance from each other, so there we can apply this method. A basin has been formed at the ground level so that that basin has been flooded with the water as per the requirement. So the loss of water is less in this method because the water is going directly to the plant, and as per requirement we can provide the water. So this is quite, we are all are familiar with this method because this is quite popular method in our region or in our rather say country. Now the furrow method, this is also a popular method in our region. We oftenly see this kind of irrigation. This is an alternative to flooding the entire land surface, is to construct a small channels along a primary direction of the movement of water and letting the water flow through these channels, which are termed as furrow, creases, or corrugation. Furrow necessitates the wetting of only about half to one-fifth of the field surface. This reduces the evaporation loss considerably. Furrow provide better on-farm water management capabilities for most of the surface irrigation conditions and variable and severe topographical conditions. Furrow irrigation require more labor than any other surface irrigation method. So here it is the furrow irrigation. We all are familiar with this. So we used to flow the water through these ditches or these small channels called as furrows. Uh, and you can see over here it is going to wet this much amount of height of land so that the water is directly provided to the plants or to the roots of the plants. Then sprinkler irrigation. It is a method of applying water to a soil surface in the form of spray, which is somewhat similar to rain. The rotating sprinkler head systems are commonly used for sprinkler irrigation. Each rotating sprinkler head applies water to a given area, the size of which governed by the nozzle size and the water pressure. Alternatively, perforated pipes can be used to deliver water through very small holes which are drilled at close intervals along the segment of the circumference of a pipe. So basically, in this method, we used to sprinkle the water on the crops. It is something like we are creating a artificial rain. This is also another popular method. So the sprinkler have been used on all types of soils on land of different topography and slopes and for many crops. So it is possible to provide a water to the crops even the land is undulated or it is not, we are not in a position to prepare a surface that is plain surface. So this method is useful. The following conditions are favorable for sprinkler irrigation. The very pervious soil which do not permit good distribution of water by surface method. If the soil is pervious, so we are unable to distribute the water to the furrows or to the channels because the water will percolate immediately as we used to pass the water. So loss of water will be more in this kind of method. So that we are going for the sprinklers. So in the sprinkling system, the water is directly going towards the plant. So there will not be any percolation losses. Then lands which have steep slopes and easily erodible soils. So in the steep slopes, it is not possible to provide water evenly to the plants or crops. So this method proves good in this kind of condition. Then irrigation channel which are too small to distribute the water efficiently by surface irrigation. And last is the land with shallow soils and undulating land which prevents the proper leveling required for the surface methods of irrigation. So here you can see the water has been sprinkled through these pipes and nozzle system. and it is spreading all over the land. So at the playgrounds, etc., where the turf has been provided, there we can see this kind of irrigation. Now the advantages. So the advantage is low water loss, that is its efficiency up to 80%. As the water moving in through the pipe, so there will not be any loss due to percolation. So that's why we have the higher efficiency. Then saving in fertilizer. There are water soluble fertilizers available, so we can provide the fertilizer through the water directly itself, so that there will be a saving in fertilizer. Then suitable for any topography, as we have discussed earlier. There will not be any problem of the unleveled or undulating land, because we used to sprinkle the water, so water is reaching directly to the plants. That's why it is suitable for any kind of topography. Then no soil erosion. The water is not flowing on the land, so there will not be any soil erosion in this kind of system. Then the better seed germination, free aeration of root zone, then uniform application of water, as the water is sprinkling, or the sprinkler is providing water to a particular area, and each sprinkler having the same kind of pressure, so uniform application of water is possible in these kind of systems. But this system have some disadvantages, like high initial cost, so it is cannot be adopted by ordinary farmers. For this system we require pipelines, nozzles, then the pumps, etc. Even the in this day we require the filters also, so it is not possible to apply this kind of system to the ordinary farmer. And second is poor application efficiency in windy weather and high temperature. So as we know, we are sprinkling the water, so when the water droplets are in the air, if there is a wind, so that those droplets can be moved away or moved in one direction, so there will be a decrement, or we are having less efficiency in these kind of conditions. Even in high temperature, those small droplets, we have the chance to a chance of evaporation of small droplets, so there will be a uh, less efficiency in these kind of conditions. Then high evaporation losses, as we have discussed earlier, the water is going towards crops in small droplets, so there will be a high chances of evaporations. Water should be free from debris, as we are using pipelines, nozzles, so there will be a problem of choking of these nozzles and pipelines if water having some debris. So the care should be taken that there will water should be free from debris, because if one nozzle chokes, that entire area should be remain as it is without water. But in nowadays we have the filter system, because of which the clean water, we can supply the clean water to these kind of systems. Then physical damage to crops by application of high intensity spray, due to some choking, or due to some any other reason, if the intensity of spray has been increased, so there is a possibility of the physical damage to crops by these high velocity high intensity spray. The last is the trickle or drip irrigation. So the trickle irrigation system comprises main line, sub-mains, laterals, walls to control the flow, drippers or emitters, then pressure gauges, water meters, filters, pumps, fertilizer tank, vacuum breakers, and pressure regulators. The drippers are designed to supply the water at desired rate, that is 1 to 10 milliliter, 1 to 10 liter per hour. directly to the soil. Low pressure ends, low pressure heads at the emitters are considered adequate as the soil capillary forces causes the emitted water to spread laterally and vertically. So in this method, we are applying water as here you can see. This is pump. This is the tank for the nutrient tank, that is tank for the fertilizer, and filter is there. This is the control valve. These are the main line. This is gate. These are the laterals and these are the emitters. So here we are providing water at the root level of the plant, and here as you can see, so we are providing water at the plant, and there it is possible that remaining work is done by the capillarity of soil to spread the water laterally and vertically, which is then provided to the, or which is then taken by the plant roots. So this is the most efficient method. We are adopting this kind of method nowadays, even for the sugarcane. So many people are adopting this kind of method, and so it is the water saving method, and we have the government is promoting these kind of methods by giving this the subsidy for these kind of irrigations. Now, what are the advantages of drip irrigation? So it is advantages: low water loss, hence saves the water, as I said earlier. Then enhances plant growth and plant yield. So we are providing nutrition to the plant at the root level. So obviously growth and yield has been increased. Then save labor and energy, as the water is going directly, and even we are providing the fertilizer also by this method. It saves labor and energy. Control weed growth, as we are supplying water uh, at the root. So in other area where earlier we used to have the weed growth because of the flowing water, so it is not there in this kind of system. No soil erosion, as we are supplying the water directly to the plant, so there will not be any soil erosion all the case. Even the water intensity is quite low, that is velocity of water, so there will not be any chances of erosion. Improve the fertilizer application efficiency, as I told you earlier, we are applying the fertilizer at the root, and all are water soluble fertilizers, so it becomes easy for the plants to take that nutrition. Now the disadvantage of this system, so it needs high skill in design, installation and subsequent operation. So we need to design a system for particular uh, kind of land or crop. Then the skill is required for the installation also, and then for the operational or for the execution also we need require high skill. Then the clogging of small conduits and opening is in emitters due to sand, clay particles, debris, chemical precipitation, and organic growth. So this is quite possible that the small conduits or small openings in emitters, they may be clogged due to some sand particles, clay particles, due to some debris, or because we are supplying fertilizers from it. So you, or in case of the hard water, some chemical precipitations can be there. So the conduits or the openings may clog. Then it is not suitable for closely planted crops such as wheat or and other cereal grains. Uh, in case of cereal grains, we used to plant the or distance between two plants is less, so in those cases it is not that much suitable or applicable. It is mainly used for the vegetable. Then nowadays they are using for the sugar cane also, then for the grapes and the big fruit plants it is suitable. So these are the all methods or techniques of water distribution in the farm. Now, the quality of irrigation water. So, irrigation water must not have direct or indirect undesirable effects on health of human being, animal, and plants. The irrigation water must not damage the soil and not endanger the quality of surface and the groundwaters with which it comes into contact. The presence of toxic substances in irrigation water may threaten the vegetation besides degrading the suitability of soil for future cultivation. So if something is there in the water which have the toxic substance, so there will be a problem with vegetation which is present now on that land and even for the future cultivation. Surface water, groundwater, and suitably treated wastewater are generally used for irrigation purpose. So, surface water which is available in the river, that we are going to use for the drinking purpose. Then the groundwater which is suitable for the drinking purpose, which is not polluted or which is not having any kind of toxic substances. So, and the suitably treated wastewater, those are generally preferred for the irrigation. Quality of irrigation water. The various types of impurities which makes the water unfit for the irrigation are classified as the sediment concentration in the water, the total concentration of soluble salts in water, proportion of sodium ions to other ions, concentration of potentially toxic elements present in the water, bacterial contamination. So these are the uh, various types of impurities which has been classified. So these are the references for today's lecture. Thank you.